Right then, lads, so today we have another MT method. Now, this is probably one of my favorite methods to do. I say one of my favorite methods. It's because I'm not sitting in menus, so it actually allows me to play the game and get a little bit of extra, sprinkle a bit of MT on top of it, and of course get some XP if you're into that. So, without further ado, let's just get into the video. Right, so the first thing you're gonna do is you need about 1,000/7,000, I guess. So it just depends what you're going after. So, we're gonna be talking about Evo Cards. Now, if you guys have done this, sort of, you pretty much know what I'm gonna be talking about. But if you don't, basically, Evo Cards at the moment are kind of tasty to make some MT. So, there's two players you can go for at the moment. There's Taylor Hoyer and Tucker, who currently goes for about 850 to 800 MT. You can realistically find it for about 700 MT if you proper hard scope him. His price has actually come down quite significantly, so you can get quite a lot of them for 750, obviously. So if you evo him to a ruby, however, you can get roughly about 2,000 MT for him. So please, 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 thank you, I'll have that one. So I'm gonna keep that one because an 1800 near mint card, I'll take that one. So he'd probably be my permanent Talon Hotter Tucker. So yeah, you can realistically sell Talon for about 2,000 MT. Now on to the other one. We're gonna be looking at not Ruby Harris. We're gonna be looking at Gary Harris. So Gary Harris, they both came out in the Dunktober sets. Gary sort of has fluctuated his price has sort of fluctuated literally the entire day, so you could realistically find him. God damn it, his price has plummeted. So earlier I found it for about 5k, and now you can find it for about 4.5. He went from 5k to 6k, now he's 4.5. So yeah, he's a pretty decent card to pick up. And his Evo, now I sold his Evo for about 8k, which it looks like you can do pretty realistically, maybe about 7.5. So obviously you pick the card for 4.5. If you sell it for 7.5, you take 750 off, you get about 6,700. That's 2,200 MT that you can just make instantly. Also as well, this card in general, like as an amethyst, is actually really good. Gold, Hoff, catch and shoot, corner specialist is gold. He gets clamped at gold as well, which is a really nice one. Like, even like, put it this way, the pink diamond Vince Carter that came out, he literally doesn't have any clamps. So that's something to think about. So in terms of actually what to evo these cards at, so Gary Harris, you need 15 threes and 5 dunks. If you're looking to evo this card, I do have a method of evoing these cards really quickly. So yeah, obviously Gary Harris needs that, and then you scroll down, Talon needs 5 dunks and 50 points. So pretty much 50 points with 5 dunks sprinkled in there. The only thing I don't like with doing Gary Harris is if you don't get his dunks, you're pretty much wasting a possession, unfortunately. But whereas with Talon, if you get layups, they still count towards his points. So see, you're not wasting as much time. So to get Talon done is pretty much 3 TT games. Now, to get Gary done, to do it absolutely perfectly, that's 5 dunks, it gets you 10 points. And then 15 threes, that's 45 points. So 55 points. If you get it done perfectly, you can do it in 3 games. Are you getting it done perfectly? Most likely not. So most likely you'll have to do 4 games, which obviously is not as big of a deal. But if you're gonna like getting Gary done, the thing with Gary is he's not great at actually dunking the ball. So if you are gonna do this, I would recommend you guys do it on current gen, just because dunking on current gen I find easier with people who don't tend to dunk. If you guys are enjoying the video, do me a favor, smash a like on the video, and of course subscribe to the channel if you guys are brand new around here. Helps me out. If you're looking to find like ways to do this, you have two options in my opinion. So you have the regular spotlight challenges, so that's the high flyers set. If you do this one, you're up against a Sapphire, Derek Jones Jr., and then a gold Aaron Gordon and gold Zach LaVine. The only issue is gold Zach LaVine is still quite athletic, so getting around him can sometimes be annoying. Now on triple threat, the only issue I have here is if you running Gary Harris, try and run him at your smallest player, just because, or maybe your biggest player, because if he's up against centers, you can usually run right past them and get an easy dunk. Also as well, what I'd recommend is if you can afford to, try and run your starting cards. If they fully evo to rubies, try and run them as starters, or try and run them if they fully done as rubies, just because 2K still treats them as emeralds, because for some reason 2K still hasn't figured out that rubies are rubies, but if you evo an emerald to a ruby, it still counts as an emerald. That is how it is. Obviously it does cost 240 MT, which to be honest isn't really that bad. You can make that back in 1 TT game, so it's not terrible, like, to be honest. The way I would tend to run this is if I can find him. Where's Jokic? Jokic, I would Evo Jokic to like a Ruby or something, and then run this, just because Gary will still be the smallest guard. So he's up against, obviously, his own thing. If he's up against a small forward or something, that's when it gets really annoying. Same, you can literally just swap this out with Talon as well. It literally works the exact same. And yeah, once you Evo the cards, go buy one, go buy another one, swap them out, and then rinse and repeat. And that's literally the method. In terms of how many I've done, I think 7, I think, off the top of my head. So Gary has to sold for 8k. Talon I've sold for 2.3, 2.1. And then there's sort of in between there. So 2.1 again. And yeah, so there we go. This Gary Harris I bought for 5k and sold for 8.6. You're about to see 7.7. That's 2,700 MT profit. For roughly about 5 TT games, I think it took me, just because the boy would not dunk the ball. So yeah, it's up to you how you want to go about this, guys. Obviously, if you needed to dunk the ball, just run the give and goes. Like, if you're on next gen, press, I think, press L1, scroll down, give and go. If you're on the current gen, press left on the D-pad and press square. You run a give and go. That's literally the easiest way to get dunks. Obviously, if you're up against a somewhat athletic guard, it can be a little annoying. But if you're really struggling with dunks, at that point, just go for the threes in that game. I tend to do the dunks first just because they can be the most annoying. And I don't like to be left with the dunks, just because if I keep getting layups, it's just really frustrating. So, yeah, guys, that's going to do it for the video. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please smash a like on the video. It lets me know that you guys are finding these helpful and you want more MT methods. And subscribe to the channel if you guys are brand new around here. Actually, guys, later. Take care. Peace. I want to give a massive shout out to channel members Zay, Gav, Gamer, Lindsay, Christian, Jay, Michael again, Kia, and Jack. Thank you guys so much for all your support.